Hello and welcome to this week tutorial. In this week tutorial, we continue our tutorial from last week where we started creating a carousel slider. As you can see right here, we layered the HTML and the CSS last week. And this week tutorial, we add a JavaScript to make it interactive. This is the finished project right here, as you can see. If we move our mouse, it starts sliding. Autoplay is on. We put our mouse over it, a pause, and this icon change. So in this week I will be adding the JavaScript. So without further ado, hello and welcome back. My name is Marian. On this channel I create web design and development tutorials. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss my tutorial. Like I said in the intro, we'll be adding the JavaScript to finish our carousel slider right here. Last week we did the HTML and CSS. In this week we did a JavaScript to make it interactive, like the finished project right here. So without further ado, so I have my JavaScript open. First I will create a function called carousel. We will be the main function for the entire carousel plugin. In our carousel, we take one parameter called selector, which allows you to create as many carousel on your page as possible as you want. And down here, now call the function. I'm passing carousel selector, and here we don't have any selector because we want to create the plugin that you can just add the images and then we can generate all the HTML. So on top of this right here, I'll create a div with a class with the ID carousel. Inside of it, I'm going to put these images right here. So that total 4 images. So we're inside the images folder slash slide dash 1 through 4. So I'll put the $sign. And we have a class also called carousel image. And I need total 4. So times 4, press enter to create the images right here. Now there's a quick mistake right here. I should put the .jpg. Save it. We get them right here, as you can see. Now we need some space right here, so I'm going to use the break tag br. We have some space right here. So we need to use the JavaScript to generate the HTML, so it can look like this. So inside our JavaScript, we're going to select our carousel, this one, the ID. You can create also the class or add a different ID name. So I'm just going to put carousel the hash. Save it. Nothing will happen, but inside here we're gonna install the code. So first we need to grab the carousel element itself, so I can create a variable called slider. In this we hold the carousel item. So I say documents query selector selector, and then we take the letter we pass here. So like console log the slider. Save it. Should inspect. You get it right here, our slider right here. So with that, we're gonna create variable called index. We set this one to 1. You can create some other variable but where we have no value. Active, slide, active, dots, and interval. And down here, we want, in case let's say we have a carousel like this with that L, and we try to select it. And let me console log it. It say no because it cannot find it. So you want to make sure the code only run if this exists. So here say if slider, you can find it by adding the exclamation point and the phone doesn't exist, you return. Also, our original carousel down here had a class carousel that is needed inside the HTML, so we want to add it to this one in case this does not have it. So I'll see if slider classless contains carousel. So this if doc does not contain the word carousel, the class carousel, we just add word. So I'm just copy this and I paste it. So classlet add. So we see this, and of course it won't add it because we still doing this right here. So let's put our right name. Now it added a class carousel. Now moving on. Now we need to set up our carousel to generate the HTML. As you can see, when we add a carousel or add a border to it. So I'm going to create a function that's coming right here. I'm going to create a function called init carousel. And I'm going to take the slider variable right here. And down here, outside of this function, down here, I'm going to create the function. So first, and let me put this one, a carousel, the HTML. These are finished one. We had this navigation. We have the track where the li all of this, and then we had the dots. So we start from this one. First, I want to get all the child inside the carousel element. So I'm going to create a constant called initial slide, and this will hold the initial one because we're going to duplicate the first slide and the last one, but I want to get the initials first, the originals. So I'm going to be array from slider, which represent this one, or we pass it right here, the children. So let me cancel like so you can see. So you can see we had an array of these elements right here. After that, we're going to create our navigation. So I'm going to create constants called nav element here, template row, and just uncopy this right here, this whole div, paste it. Let me make it never needed. And down here, we need to add this element, that the HTML. So I'm going to get our slider, maybe the inserts, adjacent, HTML. And it take two value. The first one is the position, and the second one is the what we want to insert. So the position is we had the before begin, after begin, before end, and after end. So if I right click and choose right here, we have our slider element right here. So before begin, and let's say we want to place this nav element, we play this one before the actual carousel element started. So if I save this, you can see the carousel navigation was added before the carousel element. If I say after begin, it added right after it began before this element, which what we needed. So it show up right here, right in the middle. So I say before end, then I'm gonna add it right before the element ends, and I say after end, it right at the outside of the element. So we're gonna use after begin. Now I'm gonna create a track. And this is simple, just the URL right here. Copy this one. Make sure I close it out. That's the URL. Also, we want to add the URL right here before this. Right here. Alright, URL. Because the URL came right after the carousel navigation end. So I'm gonna copy this one also. Come down here. And this will be before end. So the track, save it. Now it added right here. After this one, now we need to work on this one. If you take a look at the finished project, as given when it slides, this is the first element. When you get to the last one, click again, it cycle back to the first one. We take a look at the HTML for this. We have the first element, the second one, all the way to the fourth one. We have this one called last clone, and this first one. These are the clone. The first clone, this one, we clone it and we put it at the end after the original last element, and we clone the original last element, put it front. So when it cycle to the end, as you can see right here active, when we click next again, it jump all the way here. It slide to the first clone, which is the same as this one, and it slide all the way back to the original first one without the user knowing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clone the first slide and put it at the end, and clone the last slide and put it in front. So I'm gonna create a function called clone slide. We're gonna take our slider element, also the initial slides, and down here we're gonna create that function. Okay, I also want to do this one, so I'm gonna copy this. So I'll create a function. I'm gonna create a variable called first clone. I'm clone the first one, so initial slide. I'm gonna grab the first one in the array at position 0 as a clone node, and we don't have pass a parameter to it because it's just image, so there's nothing inside of it. So we just want to clone the outer. So if I cancel log, first clone, we get the first image right here. So first clone, I'm gonna add a class called first clone. I'm going to do the same thing for the last one, so I'll just copy this one down here, just paste it, and this will be last clone. And right here will be the initial slide down length -1. We grab the last one, this right here. This one, this line, grab the first one, and this one, we grab the last one and clone it. I'm gonna add a class last clone. What, you guys save it? Nothing will show. Now we need to start putting them where they need to be. The first one, first clone to be after the 4, and slide 4 need to be before the slide 1. So I'll go down here. I say the first one, initial. I'll grab this first one right here. Show slide that inserts adjacent. This one won't be HTML, it'll be elements. And the position will be before begin, because we try to paste it before the 1 right here. So before begin, and we want to paste the last clone of our last clone and put it before the 1. If I save it, you can see right here the last element. It had a class last clone. I want to get the first clone and put it after the last one. So we do the same thing like this one. So I'm gonna copy this. We represent the last one. And again, insert. And this one will be after end. And be first clone. Save it. Now you see. So first clone added after the last slide, and original last clone is added before the first slide right here. Now we need to create the allies and wrap all of this inside of image inside of the ally carousel slide. So first, I'll create a variable called slides, and this will be the new array that will hold all these slides with a clone. So it will be array from not from slider that query letter all. I'm gonna select the carousel. Then I'm going to set our track, slider, track. It will be slider, that query, selector. It had a class carousel, track. Now, next step, we're going to loop through this new slide and then create the LIs right here, and then start pasting each individual images inside of it. And remember, this one had last clone, first clone. So I put down here says slides for each. Down here, okay, variable called slider wrap will be the li. So document that creates elements will be li. I'm gonna give it a class. So slider, slide wrap, classless. Now add carousel slide, and then we're gonna add them before this end, so they go in order. That's a slider, slide wrap that inserts element adjacent elements before in, and this we not want to insert the li, want to insert the slide which represents the images. We want to insert them inside the li right here. So before in, so slide. So let me just select slide wrap. So you can see now you got the last one, last clone. Doesn't got the first clone and the rest in between. So after those get inserted, now we need to insert them inside the URL. You can see where disappear. Now we need to insert them inside the URL, each individual alike. So it will be slider, slide wrap. Again, insert using element before in, and then we slide wrap, which should be li. If I save this and get error, yeah, okay, right now slider, not slide wrap, is this slider track. I want to insert them inside of the URL with the track. So the slider track, which is this one. Save it. Now you can see. Now it added them. Now we want this one had a last class and this one had a first class. We want this class to be added to the carousel slide itself. Now the images, so we need to remove it from images and add it to the slide. So all we have to do is if statement, if slides the individual images classless that contains first clone say slide the class place remove first clone, and we need to add it to the slide align. So which is the slide wrap. So I'm just gonna copy this. Instead of remove, it will be add first clone. If I save it, now I see first clone, it will remove it from here, add it here. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for last clone. I'm gonna duplicate this, shift alt down arrow key, and this will be last clone. So Control D to select multiple. Now you can say last clone, it will remove it from here. So we clone the elements and paste inside the carousel track. Everything looks good. So scroll back up, close this one out. Now after we did this one, and work on this navigation right here. That's if you learn start out with HTML, that's what we have. That's right here. So create constant called that nav. And just now paste this one. Set here. And for this button right here, we want it to be dynamically created. So if we only have two slides, only two need to be created now. So I'm going to delete this one. Any button that had a class, that's delete this and leave this one there. Clean this one a little bit. Nothing will show right here. So all we have to do, just grab this one again, come down here. So before end, I'm going to set our dots now, and it show just this right here without the and that's the rest of the dots. So now I'm going to select the track. This is the right track for the dots. So I'll create the form variable call dots track be slider query slider. And with that, now we need to obtain each individual dot. So I say the initial slide, which is the initial form. That's why I create the initial slide first. So this original. Now including the clone. So I say initial slide for each. You put slide right here. Create a constant for that. Say documents. Create element. Create button element. set attribute, or type to the button. And we're going to add class called that. Then we're gonna insert it inside the track, that track. So say that track, the insert adjacent element before n, and will be that. Save it. Then we get our for. Let's say we go back to the HTML right here and we remove the last two. So I'm just comment them out. Now I only show two. Go, we had two slide, but instead of the H, is it gonna duplicate the track right here? Let's see, add these two. Let's see, duplicate the first one and the last one. So I'm going to uncomment this. Now moving back to the here, we want to create some variable that's going to be easier to access later on. So scroll back to the, after this one, create a constant variable, going to be an object. There's some properties. The first property will be the slider, which correspond to the slider variable. And then we must set the right arrow. This is slider, the query selector, maybe carousel, arrow, the right. The reason why we can select it, that's because the init carousel generate the HTML and have them pasted inside of the site. So now we have access to those classes. That's we can select it right here. So we're going to do the same thing for left arrow. Slider. I quickly copy and paste the variable from other screen. So now you can just, if you want to pause and copy them, you can pause and copy them. It's practically lowercase o. So you have the slider, the arrows, the track, the slides, which represents all of these, all of them, which is the cursor slide, the dot wrapper, all the dots, the play pause button right here. Instead of to those slide, we represent all of this. So in this case, the index is already 1, the active, all of them. And direction we will get to it once we start doing the clicking the right and the left. So for this one, move this one, and that's it. Now after this one, now we want to set up our carousel to show the first slide. This is not the first slide, this is actually the first slide, but we're showing the first one. That's why we said index v1. Remember in an array, the first element is index 0, but second element that's 1. So in this case, now the first element, this one, which are position 0, but we need the position 1 to show up. That's why we set the index to be 1 right here. So I'm create a function, call it function, we call updates active slide. This function will be called every time we slide to the left or to the right. So we always update our currently active slide. So in passing a variable, passing a variable, this variable right here, objects, so we can access to it easily. So come down here after the clone slide and create my updates. I'll make sure I put we taking a variable. And what we want to do here, first we want to remove all the active class from all of them and add the active class to the currently active. And from there, we want to update these images right here for the next preview right here. And after those get updated, we need to slide the actual cursor. So I'm going to get my variable. And inside I'm going to access the cursor slides, which is this one represent all these slides right here. As an array, so I say cursor variable that cursor slide for each slide. This slide class list that remove active. Right now, none of them had the active, but when we saw clicking left and right, the active class we added to them and make sure when we call this function, it will remove from them and add it to the one that's currently active. So if I save this one, nothing will happen. But then I go down here, save variable active slide. Now I'm gonna update the active slide right here. Read up here is a declare but no value are assigned to it. So now we're going to get value. It will be the variable carousel slide, which is an array, and then we're going to grab the second element because it's the original active one. So and here we had index to be on 1, so it will be variable index. And down here we're going to check if the active slide exists. We just had to add a class to it. And tap this class place that add active. Save this. Now you can see added to it, but it's not showing because we still have to slide in. So I'm going to create a function down here called translates carousel. And this also will take the variable as parameter. And all we have to do right here, just one line, so you can leave the curly brackets and delete them. See, we just done one thing. So variable, we're gonna access our carousel track. And now in the style, transform, I'm going to touch translate 3D to 0, 0, 0. But this is not what we need. Right here, I want to change this one to be temporary, is a temporary dollar sign, curly brackets. This be negative 100 times the index, in this case 1. So be variable that index. If I save this, nothing will show right here because we need to add we need to call it right here. So translate carousel as a variable, save it. You see nothing will show right here because we need to add the unit, in this case cents. So I save it. Now I can see the first one is showing, we should have right active one. The last one is on the left. And after this one, we need to update the preview for this one. So we do go back to the CSS right here. You can see we have these. We all have this one right here, background image, the same. So we want to update it right here. So I'm going, before that translates carousel, you can hear me call the function called updates. We have not created that function yet. Date preview slide. And take the variable also. And down here, before that translate carousel, now create the function. Create a variable called next slide, which so we on this one, which is the second one. The next one should be this one. And if you will get here, the next one we should be this one. And once we get to the last one, there's no next. So if there's no another next one, we want to go back to this original first one. And we the same thing for the last one. If there's no last one, we want to go back to this last one. So to get the next one, you can say variable active slide. So the one we are currently active on, the next element sibling. So let me cancel the live next slide. Save it. Oh, I know why I say now, because here is sibling. Now there's no L first. So I save it. Now it's show this one. This one. We can even get the inner HTML. So you can see it should show the slide too. You see it made slide too, which is this one right here. So but we want to check if we have a next one, then we're gonna get a next one. If we don't have the next slide, we want to choose the first one. So say in the ternary operator, so I'll put a question mark. So if we had our next element sibling, it does not choose it, or else we select the variable. We have set up carousel slide on the variable. We shall narrate. We choose number 1. and then we do the same thing for the previous slide. And the same thing as this one, so I'm gonna copy this one. And this, instead of next, it's gonna be previous. And right here, we want to get to this one, so it'll be again variable. Now select the total slide, which is right here. We represent how many slides we have to load. In this case 6, but we want to get to this one, which is 4. Total slide minus 2. The 2 represents this clone. We remove this clone out of it. So this will grab this one. So in the case, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I save it. Let me make my screen go a little bit. Now we need to grab this one. So it will be next preview. Actually, we need to grab the images in the next one. So next preview will be the next slide, the query selector, and they'll have a class. The images have a class carousel image right here. So once select that carousel image, and then want to grab the attribute, the source attribute. So we get attribute, and pattern SRC. And we're going to do the same thing for the previous. So I'm just going to duplicate this one, and this will be previous. Maybe the same thing right here. So I save it. So nothing happens. So I'm moving to the next one. And if we take looks at the CSS linear background, and we use this CSS variable right here, which is this one right here. So we need to access that color inside our JavaScript. So when we change it right here, it will change automatically, change it right here as well. So we create a variable called linear bg. We say get computed style. Now select the documents and document elements. We're gonna get property value, and we want to specify our color name. This case is this one. So I'm gonna copy this one with a 2 dash, paste it right here. So if I cancel log this linear bg, it shows right here. If we go back to our CSS, the same thing, as you can see. So with that, we're gonna get the right arrow. So variable right arrow, we're gonna style that background image. Will be linear gradient, and here you see we use the same color for the first one and next one, then the URL. So I'm gonna comment this one out. Save it. Now the book disappears. So linear gradient. So it's gonna be our linear bg, comma again linear bg, and now it's the URL to be next preview. I save this. Getting error. Yep. Now it shows. Well, again the quotation. I do that same thing for left one. And so left, just be left arrow, and set on next preview be preview. Now you get both of them. So that's our preview right there. So every time we click, this function will be called again so we can update this preview. Now that's a preview. Now we're gonna move to the dots arrows right here. So I'll close this one out. We did the slide. Now we're gonna worry about the dots. I'll close this one out. Go up here and I'm gonna say updates active dots. Also this one take the variable. So I'm calling down here. Read my constants updates. I take that, take the variable. Now we select the get the that variable that. So for each width is an array that holds all of these stats. So now we're working down here, all of this for each. And then we did for the second one, the active one. And now we gonna set that active will that so active that. Now update that variable. It will be the array or that, and we want to select again. We got this clone, so this one is 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 6. But here the array right here so it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So one grad of 0, 1. But our index is already at 1, so we need to subtract 1 from the index to get the first one. So be variable the index minus 1. So when we go to the second element, since index will be 2, it will be like 2 minus 1, so index will be 1, we should be this one, and so on and so forth. Now say if variable that, I think that exists, then we're going to add the class to it. And you can see they already added to it. Let's see. We take a look right here. See, they added to the first one. So that's it for the setting up the HTML, adding the navigation, the URL, the UL with this slide instead of it, the button dynamically generate the button according to how many slides we have. Now we need to add an interactivity. So when we click this, it can move to the right or to the left. So I'll close this one out. So I'll go back all the way right here. So I'm gonna add an event listener to the arrow. So the first one be variable. No, not that variable. Right arrow. Add event listener. So click. We're gonna call the function move carousel. I'm gonna take two parameters. The first one be the variable itself. The second one the direction. This will be right. So we're clicking the right arrow key. I'm gonna do the same thing for the left. So I'm gonna copy this one. This is and this will be left. And direction will be left. Just save it. Nothing will happen. If I click it, we get error because we didn't create this function yet. So I'm going to come down here after the translate carousel. Create my function called move carousel and taking the variable and then direction. There's not a lot of code here. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get the active slide. Make sure we always gonna get the active. Every time we click, we want to make sure we get the active slide. So say variable active slide will be the track. We're gonna access the carousel track, which is the URL, the wrapper on every the slide carousel track query selector. Maybe carousel slider that have the active class. So if I say I will also like the variable and the active slide, none of that. If I click the next, yeah, these variables. I did a mistake. Yeah. So save this. Click next. Now you see this is the active one. If I click left, this is active one. This one right here. And we need to also update the index. So it's a variable index. We want to grab the index of the active one. So we make sure that we add or subtract from the current one. So it will be variable carousel slides. This carousel slides an array of all these slides. So the index of we grab the index of our active slide. So then cancel like variable index. Save it. So I click next, it give me 1. I click next again, give me 1. Now, if you click in the right, then we need to increase the index by 1. If you click the left, we need to decrease the index by 1. So we say if direction goes right. I'm using the ternary operator, the question mark, and variable, the index plus plus. I'm gonna increase it by 1. Else variable index minus minus. So let me cancel that last variable. Index. So click the next one. 2, 2. Because we see on the active, we didn't move the active yet. So it's 2, 2. Okay, so that's that. Now the next step is just start sliding this thing. So before we do that, I'm gonna make this on full screen. I'll close this one out real quickly. I should put it on the side right here. I'm gonna update the CSS for the overflow. Now you can see it. I want to show this whole thing, so I'm gonna make this one that smaller. I'm going to the body right. Set the overflow visible also for now. Now you can see we had our first, so right here, the last one, clone for the last one right here, and slide all the way. We see the first one again. So with that in mind, I'm gonna code the JavaScript. So basically the idea is that once you click the next, want to slide this one until you get to the clone first one. Then once we get here, want to slide all the way back to first one right here. So since both images will look the same, the user will want to notice it. So what we do, we're going to add event listener to the track itself. So I say variable carousel track, add event listener, we transition and so this event listener will happen as soon as the transition ends, which is when we did a carousel track right right here. We add a transition to it. So let's just slide it so you can see talking about. So I would say our updates active slide. We slide our cursor for us and update the preview right here. So we're gonna collect. So updates slide person variable and also updates that variable. And this will not work. It will not slide. I will not do anything because this will only work after the transition end, but nothing is moving yet. So I won't transition anything. So I'm just gonna copy this one right here, paste it outside right here, and comment this one out for now. And take a look. So when I click this one, go to the second one, as you can see. Click next, go to the third one, as you can see. The fourth one right here. Click again. We want to the first clone. But once they get this first clone, we want to go all the way back here. When it gives error, gives an error, because we can find the next no more. So on to the any updates again. See, this one update to this one update to this one. Now I click, so I went back right here. So right here we want to check every time we slide one, check if we have this first clone class or the last clone class. If it does, then we move it to the right position. So first thing we say, if the direction is right, so click on the right arrow, and then we want to check the current slide at that moment if it has the class first clone. That's a variable. That carousel slides, which are an array that hold all the slides. Now access the element at that moment by using index. The index, again, the index will keep changing. If the slide at that moment at a class first clone, then you want to set a variable, the index variable to be 1. So go back to this one. So I'm coming this one. Let's save it. Now let's try see. So we went to the active again. Now this is the third one. The fourth one, remember this last one is the first clone. I'm gonna check. I see it went from here all the way to here, back here. So wait again. You see, it added it quickly and then remove it. I'm about the first one. So I'll put this one down here. Where you can see it jump, it's a slide, it's animated. We don't want to add to animate, we want it to jump. Just want it to just jump. So if I go back to CSS, put the overflow back to hidden. See, we don't want that sliding effect. So I'm gonna create a function that will take care of, that will remove the transition once we don't need it. So if you right here and tap here, I'm gonna create a function called transition cancel. Again, they're gonna take the variable and then the states. The state will be true or false, whether you want to cancel the transition or no. So I'll say just one line. If states data generate, if it's true, that means if you not cancel the transition, then you can grab the asset track, style, transform, no transition. I want to set that one to be 0 second. If we set a state to be false, that means we don't want to cancel the transition. All we got to do, set a transition to be null. Save it. Yeah, no, this will be calling so this one. Now here we have to set the transition cancel as on the variable, and yes, we want to cancel it every time we slide. So to be true, if I save this one, let's click it, slide nicely and say transition all 0 is. Now we just jump, won't do anything. So I have to do back down here, we set it back to false. Like this one to false. Save it. Now click it. If I click again, this like remove it, add it. Now if I see we here, if I click now, then we jump all the way back here. Now we have error if we click way too fast, because then there's a mistake I did somewhere right here. And just simple, I'm calling this again, so you're removing the class all over again. Once I did it here, it will remove it all over, and then remove all over here again. So we don't need it in two places. So right here, just want to translate carousel. That's all we need right here. Variable. We just want to slide it. We don't want to add and remove anything because we're doing it right here. So now, second, third, fourth, we went back to the first one. Now, no matter how fast you click it, there's no error no more. If we go back, nicely, and these also updates. On the first one, air updates, some updates. If I click again, it should have, and that's the next part we're gonna fix. So hit our right, so I'm gonna copy this one, do the left. So it's left, and it's last clone. The index will be the total variable, total slide, which is 6 minus 2. The 2, we want to remove the clone out of it, so we want to line right here. So when here we click the previous, we want to jump to this one. So if I save this, here, come over here, click it. Now we made it back to the last one, all the way here. We jump from here all the way here. Click next. We jump from here all the way to the first one. Also, no matter how fast you click, it will work just fine. And this also updates. So that's it for the sliding. We'll click on the arrow. So right here, I'll close out. If you need some time to pause it to write it, then do so. I'll close this one out. Now the next step is working with the dots right here. So with that, over here, all the way inside, after the arrow, we're going to glue out that wrapper, which is this one. We wrap it around, which is this one. We wrap it around all the dots. So let's see, variable, dot wrapper, add event listener, click pattern events, We're going to call the update that nav function. We're going to take the variable, the events. So we come down here after the move carousel, now create our updates that nav. And it's very simple. So updates so constant. Let's create a target. We want to get what we click on because we're selecting this whole wrapper, but we only want to work. We want on the dot when we click the dots. So the target will help us get what we click on. So it'll be E the target. We want just the dots, the one for class dots. So the closest button. We want the button itself. This means string. Because later when we click this one, we click just the icon, but we want the button, not the icon. Also for this one, we just want the button. That's why we're selecting the button. Then we want to create two different functions. One for the that and the other one for this button right here. I'll play pause. So say if targets, the one we're clicking on, class list had a class called that. That means we're clicking on this dot right here. So we're going to call the function called updates. Clicked that and passing the variable and the targets. So come down here, create that function really quickly. Updates, click that. I'm going to paste this one. Create function called clicked index. We want to get the index of this data we clicked, so we can use it to slide the slider, also update that as well. So click, this will be our variable that, which is an array holding this that right here, button right here, index of targets. Again, the target is what we clicked on. So targets. So let me just cancel lag. Click index. Save it. Now let's check it out. Right here. It says 0. Okay. 1. Let me open this one. Say 1, 2, and 3. So that the index of the that we clicked on, and whether we want to update our original index, so variable index will be our click that's click index plus 1. Because if this is 0 but this is 1, when we click on the 0 and we move back to this original one, because this is the index 0 right here, index 0. So because of that, our original index will be updated the correct one. So you create 0, we just add 1 to it, so it stay under 1. Click on the second one, so this should be 1. We add +1 will be 2, so it's like the correct one. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one, and then from there I'll remove the class for all of this. Say variable that's for each, that class list that remove active. Now we need to update the active that, so variable active that will be a variable that passing the index, so variable the index again -1, because index right here is +1, so we just all have to do -1. And so it's if active that it does exist, all we have to do is add a class to it. So let's try click it, nothing happened. If I click the second one, it remove from this one, added the second one, third one, fourth one, as you can see it move through. Now we need to slide this thing, so all we have to do is simple call the updates active slide as in a variable and save it. Now we can click this first one, nothing happened because someone second one is slide to the correctly, second one, third one, and these updates as well. So I click again and went back. But if I click this one again, it jumped because we see our transition to be 0 right here. So all we had to do just remove it. So we said the transition cancel as in a variable. We set it to false because we don't want to cancel it in this case. So this will happen. If I click this one, see transition is 0. But if I click this one, it reverses slide nicely. So that's for the click. Now we want to work on this button right here. So when we click it, it's autoplay. So we go back here, say if, copy this one again, duplicate it, Shift Alt, arrow key. So we had a class play pause, which is right here. Play pause. We call it function call updates play pause button, so bit here, and we're gonna take the variable and the target as well. So we come down here, create our function play pause updates play pause btn variable targets. So if you take a look at this data states, pause, we change the icon. So I say once we click it, we want to get the data state, the way they play or pause and want to change it. So say let's state equals targets that data sets or pause. No, it's just a states. Which the states. If you read data sets, you don't have to put the word data, you just put the last one. Like in this case, just states. So I say if states equals pause, then our target data set that states. Again, we want to update this one. It will be plain. Else, if it doesn't have a pause, then we have a plain. They want to change it again to pause. Data set states equals pause. If I save this, this is what happened. So click, so it's a plain right here. Click again, pause, click, plain, pause. And after that, we need to get it again. So I'm gonna copy this one, put some space right here. Now we need to update the autoplay. So I say if again states equals plain, then what we do, start autoplay. We didn't create the function yet, we create right after this one, the autoplay to the variable. Or else stop autoplay. Tell me how to pause. So I save this one. If I click it, yeah, error goes that we didn't create the function yet. So we're gonna work on that right now. So down here after this one, the constant auto start autoplay, take the variable, and up here, remember we have this enable variable, which we're gonna use to set enable. So I'll say variable interval equals set interval, and here all we want to do is call the move carousel, passing in the variable, and then for the direction, we require the direction, we must select the variable direction. Up top here, we set to right. And then for the right here, this speed and duration, how often should I move? Set be every 4 seconds by default, set to every 3.5 seconds. So it'll be variable the duration. So if I save this now press this, plain, over a couple seconds. Now it's moving. Now everything's updating nicely. As you can see, if I pause it, you get error because stop autoplay is not here yet. So we're gonna create that one. So first I'm gonna add a class, a slider itself. Autoplay. Now I'm gonna start the autoplay. Stop autoplay. Down here, all we have to do just clear the interval. So a clear interval, and we have a variable interval, and we'll remove this class on the slider. So let's click start. So sliding, and our class got added to it. So autoplay, right? Press this, it got removed, and the interval got clear, so it stops sliding. If I click this one, it's still working just fine. Click this one back, it will start sliding again, and this one, the autoplay get caught. Click this one, still works just fine. And these also are updating. Now we want to do the mouse over and mouse leaves. So you can pause when you put your mouse over it. So that's this one. So we go collapse this one, go all the way to the top right here after the dot wrapper. I'm gonna set the slider mouse enter. It's gonna stop the autoplay. When we put our mouse over it, stop the autoplay. Send a variable. Then I'm gonna update this icon to be paused. So that will be the variable. Into the play pause button data sets. That states, and it will be pause. So I save this, it should be working. So I press play, put my mouse over it, it's pause. Now we need to start sliding again when we remove our mouse. So now copy this, paste it right here. Say mouse, say enter, leave, and do the starts autoplay, and they will be playing. Save it. Mouse over it, pause, play, and see a update right here also. Mouse over it, tap pause, it's still working just fine. I press play, it should start playing again. Even if my mouse is over it, it will start continue playing. Pause it, it will start. As you can see, if I remove my mouse from it, the autoplay will start playing again. As you can see. And then we had this variable say autoplay true or false. So if it's false, we don't want, even we click this one, we don't want it to start playing. So all we can do is say if it's false, so variable autoplay false, we're going to return. And down here, you want to start the autoplay. Otherwise, if you set autoplay to true, it won't work until we put our mouse over it. And that updates this one again to this. And that's it. So right now, it's all the autoplay and it's on, as you can see, without having to put the mouse over it and remove it. Now if our mouse over it, it should pause right here. Start moving. My mouse off it, it will stop playing. So that's it for the tutorial. So we did the HTML last week and the CSS last week. In this tutorial, we did the CSS and the JavaScript, make everything interactive. Now you can add as many sliders to your website as you want because the code is optimized that you can include multiple ones. So like just copy this one, another one on top right here. We're just two images. Let me just remove, comment this one out, and this one we say let's say that one. Let's put some beyond that. So we have these two. So let's go to our JavaScript and down here, come on, select this one and SV-1. Save it. As you can see, it's working just fine. And it has many as you want on your website. So that's it for the tutorial. Thank you for watching. If I'm not already done it, I would appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss my next tutorial. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, have a great one. Bye.